You think autophagy only happens when you stop eating, that you need to fast for 16 hours, 18 hours, maybe 24 hours before your body starts cleaning itself up. And fasting does activate autophagy. That part is true. But here is what researchers have discovered. Certain compounds in food can activate some of the same cellular cleanup pathways without requiring extended fasting. These foods do not replace fasting, but they may help support the same repair systems through different mechanisms, which means you might be able to enhance cellular cleanup while still eating. Today, we are covering 5 foods that research suggests can activate autophagy-related pathways and the biology behind why they work. But first, let us make sure you understand what autophagy actually is. Autophagy is your body's cellular cleanup system. Think of it this way. Imagine you never took out the trash in your house for years. Garbage piles up, broken furniture stays broken, clutter fills every room. Eventually, the house becomes dysfunctional, not because anything dramatic happened, but because maintenance stopped. Your cells work the same way. Every day, your cells produce damaged proteins, broken organelles, and dysfunctional mitochondria. If these accumulate, the cell becomes sluggish, energy production declines, function deteriorates. Autophagy is the process of identifying this cellular garbage, breaking it down, and recycling the useful components. Auto means self, phagy means eating. Autophagy literally means the cell eating itself, but in a good way. It is self-cleaning, self-maintaining. When autophagy works well, damaged parts get removed and replaced with fresh components. Cells stay efficient, function stays high. When autophagy is suppressed through constant eating, poor sleep, chronic stress, or sedentary behavior, damaged material accumulates, cells age faster, disease risk increases. This is why autophagy matters. Many diseases of aging, neurodegeneration, cancer, metabolic disorders begin when damaged cellular parts stop being removed efficiently. Autophagy is not just about longevity. It is about maintaining the quality of your cells right now. Now let us talk about how food can influence this process. Fasting activates autophagy primarily by lowering insulin and activating a pathway called AMPK, an energy sensor that tells your cells to shift from growth mode to repair mode. But certain compounds in food can trigger similar signals, not by mimicking starvation, but by activating the same molecular pathways through different mechanisms. Here is what your body actually responds to. It is not just calories, it is signals. And some of the most powerful signals come from specific compounds found in everyday foods. Food 1, pomegranate. Pomegranate contains a compound called ellagic acid, but here is what most people miss. Ellagic acid itself is not the active compound. When you eat pomegranate, your gut bacteria transform ellagic acid into something called urolithin A. This transformation happens inside your microbiome. Urolithin A is one of the most studied compounds for activating mitophagy, the specific form of autophagy that removes damaged mitochondria. Here is why this matters. Mitochondria are your cell's power plants. When they become damaged, they produce less energy and more harmful byproducts. Accumulating dysfunctional mitochondria is one of the hallmarks of aging. Mitophagy clears these damaged mitochondria and allows new, healthy ones to take their place. Studies have shown that urolithin A activates mitophagy pathways in human cells. Clinical trials have demonstrated improvements in mitochondrial function and muscle endurance in older adults taking urolithin A supplements. But here is the interesting part. Some of the most powerful compounds are not in the food itself. They are made by your microbiome. This means your gut bacteria determine how much benefit you get from pomegranate. People with certain bacteria convert ellagic acid efficiently. Others do not. This connects to something deeper. The health of your microbiome affects how well you can activate autophagy from food. We will come back to this idea. Food 2. Extra virgin olive oil. Olive oil is famous for being part of the Mediterranean diet, but its benefits go beyond healthy fats. Extra virgin olive oil contains a compound called oleocanthal, which gives high-quality olive oil that peppery, slightly burning sensation in the back of your throat. Research suggests oleocanthal may support autophagy in brain cells specifically. Here is how this connects. Neurodegenerative diseases, like Alzheimer's, are characterized by the accumulation of misfolded proteins, cellular garbage, that the brain cannot clear effectively. Oleocanthal appears to help activate pathways involved in clearing these damaged proteins from neurons. Animal studies have shown that olive oil consumption supports brain autophagy and reduces protein aggregation. Epidemiological studies consistently link Mediterranean diet consumption with lower rates of cognitive decline. The mechanism is still being studied, but the signal is clear. Food can influence how effectively your brain takes out the trash. This is why quality matters. Regular olive oil and refined olive oil do not contain significant oleocanthal. Only extra virgin olive oil, especially fresh, high polyphenol varieties, provides meaningful amounts. Food 3. Green tea. Green tea contains a compound called EGCG, epigallocatechin galat. EGCG has been extensively studied for its effects on cellular signaling pathways. Here is what makes it relevant to autophagy. EGCG activates AMPK, the same energy-sensing pathway that fasting activates. When AMPK is activated, cells shift from growth mode to maintenance mode. Autophagy increases. But EGCG does this without requiring caloric restriction. Studies have shown that EGCG can induce autophagy in various cell types, including neurons, liver cells, and muscle cells. Here is the deeper insight. Your cells respond less to calories and more to signals. EGCG is a signal, a molecular message that tells cells to prioritize repair. This is why green tea has been associated with so many health benefits in population studies. The compound is speaking directly to cellular machinery. 1 to 3 cups of green tea daily provides meaningful amounts of EGCG. Matcha, powdered whole green tea leaves, contains even higher concentrations. And this is the part most people never realize. These foods are not activating autophagy through starvation. They are activating it through signaling. Your cells have receptors and pathways that respond to specific molecules. When those molecules appear, the pathways activate, regardless of whether you are fasting. This does not mean food-based autophagy is identical to fasting-induced autophagy. The mechanisms overlap but are not identical. But it means you can support cellular cleanup through multiple approaches: fasting, movement, sleep, and now, specific compounds in food. The body responds to the signals it receives, and you have more control over those signals than you might think. Food 4. Wheat germ. This one surprises people. Wheat germ, the nutrient-dense core of the wheat kernel, is one of the richest food sources of a compound called spermidine. Spermidine is one of the most well-researched autophagy activators. Here is why it matters. Unlike some compounds that activate autophagy indirectly through energy-sensing pathways, spermidine appears to influence autophagy at the genetic level. It interacts with proteins that regulate gene expression, specifically genes involved in cellular maintenance and longevity. Studies in animals have shown that spermidine supplementation extends lifespan and improves cardiac function. Human epidemiological studies have found associations between higher dietary spermidine intake and reduced mortality. One study followed over 800 people for 20 years and found that those with higher spermidine intake had significantly lower rates of death from all causes. Here is the reframe. Some compounds do not just activate repair, they influence the genes involved in repair. Spermidine tells your DNA to prioritize maintenance. Other good sources of spermidine include aged cheese, mushrooms, legumes, and soybeans, but wheat germ provides some of the highest concentrations per serving. Food 5. Coffee. This one might be the most surprising and the most practical. Coffee contains hundreds of bioactive compounds, and research suggests several of them support autophagy-related pathways. One mechanism involves polyphenols in coffee that activate AMPK, similar to green tea. Another involves compounds that may directly influence autophagy genes. Studies have found that coffee consumption is associated with increased autophagy markers in human cells. Animal research has shown that both caffeinated and decaffeinated coffee can enhance autophagic activity. Here is what this demonstrates. One of the world's most common drinks may be influencing cellular cleanup every day. Millions of people drink coffee without knowing it might be supporting cellular maintenance. This does not mean coffee is a magic solution, but it shows that cellular biology is influenced by common, everyday foods, not just exotic superfoods or extreme interventions. The compounds in your daily habits are sending signals to your cells, and your cells are responding. Now let us bring this together. 5 foods, 5 different mechanisms. Pomegranate activates mitophagy through urolithin A, a compound your gut bacteria create. Extra virgin olive oil supports brain autophagy through oleocanthal, clearing damaged proteins from neurons. Green tea activates AMPK through EGCG, shifting cells from growth to maintenance mode. Wheat germ provides spermidine, influencing autophagy at the genetic level. Coffee supports multiple cleanup pathways through polyphenols and other compounds. Each food works differently, each targets overlapping but distinct mechanisms. Together, they represent a broader truth. Your body is constantly trying to repair itself. These foods may help support that process. But here is the deeper insight. Aging is not just about damage, it is about maintenance. Damage happens constantly. Free radicals form, proteins misfold, mitochondria break down. This is normal. What matters is whether the cleanup keeps pace with the damage. Healthy cells stay healthy because they continuously repair, recycle, replace, and adapt. When cleanup slows, through constant eating, chronic stress, sedentary behavior, or simply aging, damage accumulates faster than repair can handle. This is when cellular dysfunction begins. These foods do not stop damage from occurring. Nothing can. But they may help ensure that cleanup keeps pace. They send signals to your cells, prioritize repair, activate maintenance, clear the damage. And cells that receive these signals consistently, day after day, year after year, may age differently than cells that do not. This does not mean you should skip fasting entirely. Fasting remains one of the most powerful autophagy activators. The metabolic switch that happens during extended fasting creates signals that food cannot fully replicate. But not everyone can fast regularly. Not everyone should fast regularly. And for those people, or for enhancing autophagy between fasts, these foods provide another tool. The goal is not perfection. The goal is consistent signals. Pomegranate a few times per week, extra virgin olive oil daily, green tea in the morning, wheat germ sprinkled on meals, coffee if you already drink it. Small inputs, repeated consistently, create lasting cellular effects. Your body is always learning from what you feed it. Every meal sends signals. Every compound tells cells what to do. You can send signals that suppress cleanup through processed foods, constant eating, and inflammatory inputs. Or you can send signals that support cleanup through these foods and others like them. The cells receiving these signals are the same cells that determine how you age, how much energy you have, and how well your systems function. Your body is not broken. Your body is constantly trying to repair itself. The question is whether you are supporting that process or suppressing it. These 5 foods will not make you immortal, but they may help your cells do what they are already trying to do. Repair, recycle, replace, adapt. If you understand this, everything changes.